look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother.
Yo.
I really wanna try.
Oh, the fake.
got the pump on. What's up? What's going on? Yo, welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest Podcast. Yo, we want to thank y'all for joining us once again. The whole crew is here. We got A-Dub. Listeners can't hear that, but he was flexing on you.
yeah. Yo, that's just for the Patreon. You feel
me? We got Mr. Johnson.
What's up, people?
And we got people. Marco.
What up, boys and girls?
And just in case you don't know, my name is Josh.
Others?
Yeah, basic like that. But yo, if this is your first time joining us, we are four brothers who come together periodically, really on a weekly gathering, if you will, to converse about this thing called life and process with each other. We have been friends since the early 90s, late 90s. Because early 90s we'd be like baby babies.
Back when starter jackets was still fresh.
You know, baggy jeans and tearaway pants.
Baggy jeans and naughty those. Let me add that he do spend.
Give me your daddy dolls. But most of all, beyond any other thing, we make sure that through all our conversations, we abide by three principles, and that is being forthright, being vulnerable, and if you have listened to us before, you've already said it. Be honest. Fellas, those three principles that we got, being forthright, vulnerable, and honest, did you have any moments where that happened for you this week?
Well, I got one. I was gonna let somebody else step in first, but
no, this double dutch. You get in.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. So this actually yesterday, my son came home from school, and as he always do, he does his homework. So I saw him do his homework, and so he showed me, and he's like, my teacher first of all, he goes to a Christian school, so he has Christian themed homework and stuff like that. So this particular Adam and Eve one, he told me like his teacher said, don't color in their skin. They're the person, Adam and Eve. So I thought about it for a little bit, and I think I've heard this argument before or thing before, but my thing is about it, and I thought it was pretty obvious. It is pretty simple. Like they want everything to be colored correctly. So like trees are green and things of that nature. So I thought like, so it was apples in the picture. So an apple could be red, yellow, green, or different shades of that, combinations or whatever. So with that logic, I'm thinking like, okay, so it's up to the kids to fill it in what they want or what they see or how they feel, whatever it may be. But the only thing I know that you keep blank is like white space, and it's rarely that, you know, unless it's a piece of paper or something that's white as like a t-shirt or something like that. So I'm definitely against that, man. Like I don't understand why you would leave it blank when nobody is that color, and everything else there's variations.
Right.
I don't know if they're saving themselves from some type of criticism, which I don't understand what criticism there is there, because as we all know, even with us, like it's many shades. So I'm trying to process that still, man. Like, and
I don't know if there's anything that's natural that's as white as a sheet of paper that doesn't have some sort of.
I'll say the same thing.
Nothing natural, and the
nothing
apples
in
are
nature is that
natural.
white.
And that's what I asked my son. Like, have you ever seen a person like that? So what Why would they say don't do that? Why not color it in?
I can only imagine it has to be some kind of for lack of better terms, overcorrection, where they're like, we don't want to catch any flack. When I'm like, the only flack I think you could catch is if you made them color the people a certain way.
Yeah,
right.
But if you told them, hey, color the inanimate objects in the inanimate or the forms of nature, apples, trees, grass, etc. Color those as close to real, quote unquote, as possible. But the people, that's where your creativity gets to reign.
My only like to play devil advocate to myself is like, when you in like preschool and the lower grades or any grades, like you don't have those skin tone crayons and stuff like that.
Right.
Maybe like that's the only thing I could think of why they would say that. But even
that devil's advocate are giving benefit of the doubt to them.
No, I'm not giving benefit of the doubt because I feel adamant about like where I stand on this, but I'm just trying to, in my mind, I like to do that just to make sure
I think that's fair.
Like
yeah.
I'm not overreacting or missing something.
Yeah,
but in this one, I don't think I am. And my light is just like dimming, but
I wish I knew. I wish we knew what their logic was. I wish you had already gotten to talk to the teacher or something and really see. I was like, isn't that what their situation was with the plan? Like what the plan was for that assignment?
He told me that yesterday. I mean, it's always the same plan. Just color it in, realistic. And I believe that people are realistically colored. So.
Is that a call or email you could send to the teacher?
Oh, that's the next step, like, because it happened yesterday. So over the weekend, I can't really. But I do plan on speaking with the teacher. Yeah, I plan on that because I need to hear her explanation.
Yeah, my question is it okay? Make it realistic, meaning what we've always read and known is that they are white in the Bible, etc. Or I'm like you said, I'm going through several different ideas too. Like, is it the idea that because it's a religious themed homework assignment, you know how they say God, like you're not supposed to color God any particular way. He takes no image, and it's like, where are they? Like, how in what direction are they going? I'm assuming more of what we've been taught and known as a society, like Christian society, is that they're Adam and Eve are white. I'm assuming that's where they're going with.
Well, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I was gonna say so. All right, this is when my 20 years of going to church every Sunday pays off. So, like, nowhere in the Bible does it say Jesus was white
or anyone.
Yeah, but there is a description somewhere where it says his skin was
bronze and wool, lamb's wool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. We have been taught that though, right? It's not in the Bible.
I mean,
I feel like
it's not in the Bible.
Through imagery.
The idea is out that Jesus is white and Adam and Eve are white. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't technically in the Bible that they were, but
folks just assume that.
Assume and
most Bibles, if you get a Bible like with pictures, like
he's white.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's a part of indoctrination.
Yeah, like people have been taught.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
That's indoctrination. That's what I'm saying.
It's like I get what you're saying, but it's like it's not like we went to school or Sunday school and they were like today we're
indirectly
whiteness.
You're right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like been like kind of just pushed on us. Like if you go into like a Christian bookstore, you're gonna see all these pictures of a white Jesus with the long hair. Right. And it's like, but it's like people typically just draw and paint as they see themselves. So
exactly,
yeah,
So I was just saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Unless there's like a really deep, I'm not gonna say self-hate, but just a really deep like indoctrination. Like Josh was saying, like for example, you might go into a Hispanic household and see white Jesus. You might go into a black household and see a white Jesus, but it's not necessarily because they hate themselves. I'm not gonna go that deep, although it could. But I feel like I'm getting off topic.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
I think you just try to find the word.
Like, I feel you. I didn't mean like taught in school all the time and like taught formally.
Yeah.
I mean, like it could be something as easy as like you go into a gas station and a child for the first time sees this picture and happens to be Jesus, and he happens to be white. And you say, "Oh, who is that, Mom?" "Oh, that's Jesus." And if you don't say any more than that, then he thinks Jesus is white in that moment.
Yeah.
Well, who knows if he takes that somewhere else? I'm just saying, taught in that way.
And worldwide, it's a cultural thing. If you go to certain parts of Asia, Jesus is Chinese. Like Jesus is whatever part of Asia that they are. Like,
but the Christian philosophy, I feel like typically is that Jesus is what?
No, the American Christian.
American Christian.
Oh, that's
fair.
I don't know, because you can go like to the Caribbean and stuff like places like that, and they still have images of white Jesus, but it come from
that's like
the West.
It comes from the West, and it comes from
but it's still seeming in some people's culture without them even processing it like through their culture, like through their state of mind. It's like it's handed down and it's not altered. It's just well, we don't challenge, right? We don't challenge, right? Basically,
that's part of social conditioning, and if we're talking about places that were, stops on the transatlantic slave trade, of course that's still going to be the case.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But ultimately, I think Josh like made the best point about them. I think because they're trying to like avert some type of danger with that, or overcorrect something when you're given the danger by doing that, because it's unnecessary. Like, instead of having a conversation about it, you're glazing over it, and that to glaze over it and say just leave it white, that can mess up kids too, because they thinking like, hey, they not processing all of why and stuff like that. Because like my son, the question I was asking him, he didn't really think about it, because he's at an age where, I mean, every now and then he'll ask some type of questions about those type of things, but he's not deeply thinking about it. But if the conversation is here, then let's talk about it. That should be something, especially in a religious school. Like, you would think that the conversation that's the opportunity to talk about equality, so yeah, I gotta talk to her maybe, and see, I gotta try to understand that better.
Yeah,
I have to have a part 2 on that.
we can always do a check. What am I looking for?
Follow up.
There you go. Because that would be my assumption, and that's some slight benefit of the doubt, I guess, on my part, to go like, oh, as maybe in their mind, as long as they weren't like, make sure to color them this way so that it's accurate for them, like according to them. They figure if we avoid it completely, then we don't have to worry about it.
But what else? What else do they do that for? Like,
I agree. It's hypocritical and ignorant. Yeah. Because you let that little kid draw blue Jesus, who cares?
Somebody might, unfortunately.
Like, for me, like the artist and me, not that I'm some world-renowned artist, but just the creative. For me,
you shit, bro. You shit. We seen stuff.
Yeah, please.
I would just be thrilled just to see what they come up with. So I would like just color how you want to. I always want to see, because you might have some kid over here that puts together some really cool color combination that I would have never thought to draw Jesus, like, or Adam and Eve.
I guess that's like my main thing, that y'all missed the opportunity to learn, have that conversation.
Right.
You in school,
out of fear. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point, yo. Well then.
Anybody else got anything that happened to them this week?
Mine was fairly standard. I don't know if I got nothing that really stood out too much this week. It was a decent week.
Yeah.
I mean, it was straight. It was straight.
For me, what is it? It's a bit of a rough week because just work wise, I'm we had a week off, and so now I'm fully back in work at work. So I'm working 48 hours a week now. Which, for the average person, I was like, yeah, that's a typical work week. But I'm also doing physically exhausting work for 48 hours a week. So my body is a little banged up. And like one of the moments was there's a part in one of the pieces that we have where a guy pretty much one of the other guys flips me over his back, and he did it with a little too much force, and my knee slammed into the floor. So my knee has been a little swole since.
Dang.
But I can always, I don't know, a part of me always kind of appreciates when stuff like that happens, and I'm not like devastatingly hurt by it, even though I can tell like, oh, this is going to be some lasting pain, because I'll shake it off and go, okay, come on, let's just keep going. And they're all like, oh, because, if you have any major injury, that could be your whole, that's your livelihood.
Yeah. If it's serious enough, that may be your whole career.
That might be the rest of your career.
I'm sure you've heard stories.
Oh, I've seen shit.
Yeah.
But to be able to like, kind of keep the process moving and help them feel like comfort in a time where they may be freaking out, even though you're the one that was in danger. I can always appreciate being able to do that, because some people are petty. And, if they do that, then they're going to make a whole big ass deal about it. And I've never really been that person unless it's been shit with like my back, because my back has been jacked up for forever. So that was a nice moment to have.
I got a quick one, man. Just Josh, it hit me when you were telling yours. I guess it's more like a comment, really. I don't know if it really it even probably applies, but I guess it's more so funny. I guess slightly vulnerable, but we lost 2 people at work again, so we are back to 49, 50-hour work weeks. And it just made me think of like, because I'm yours is definitely more physical, but mine is fairly physical too. I mean, one, you're doing a lot of driving.
No doubt.
I could hop in and out of the van 100 and like 20 or 30 stops. And just the longer that goes, you're tired. Sometimes it's like, yo, you gotta like stay alert, and mainly just sometimes I find myself getting tired on the drive back. I'm like, yo, you gotta stay. Hope no one who could fire me is listening to this, but now you got to stay awake on that highway. Just in general. The point is, one dude got fired, and then one dude just didn't show up. My vulnerable moment was, we can't keep fucking employees, man. So we're constantly at the. It's a wonderful business. It's really, really I promise. But this is like the third time somebody was like. We'll try to. It's just funny when you get somebody who does like a working interview or whatever, and they're like hyped up and excited, like, "Oh man, this sounds great," and then they don't come back. Like, why did you lie to? Why did you put all that effort into being excited? And it's like no call, no show, or it's either no call, no show, or like, man, it was so cool. Yo, thank you so much for the opportunity. So we'll see you Monday. Damn. So anyway, that's crazy. I would just make it
doing interviews,
working overtime. Back to it. So hopefully, maybe we'll get another raise. Who knows? If you're my supervisor, hopefully we'll get another raise. Another 6 months of overtime. Maybe we'll get another raise.
Yeah, maybe that's why people don't want to work. But that bring up a good topic, man, because I've heard that like our generation or this generation does like the workforce right now is nobody wants to work.
Yeah, a lot of people are quitting,
and a lot of people are demanding, and people don't feel like they're getting compensated enough, and people don't connect with the jobs they are in and their careers and stuff like that.
It's so much into that too. Like we used to do. It used to be the working interview used to be half half a day. And I, for one, was like, there's no way that they're going to get a real feel for this for half a day. And like, they obviously can't even drive. So all they're doing is like, you don't have that added focus of driving and making sure you get to the right stop, find a place to park, blah, 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 and get out, do everything and run back and forth. So like, they're not even getting the real demand of the job. You can only do one aspect until you're on insurance. So it's like, yo, let's push it to a full day and maybe put them on like a bigger route. Mind you, like the job can be, it's demanding and it can be strenuous, but it's not that hard. You know, at the same time.
Do y'all feel like
so it says something? I don't know, it says something about the person and what their intentions really were, or
right.
Or what?
I think people just, they really need and want jobs, but I think now people are not willing to take as much nonsense from jobs.
And they're just straight about like, yo, this is, I don't want to do this for, they know as soon as they know that they don't want to do it for a long time or they can't see themselves, it's like, I'm out.
Also, it's like supply and demand. Like, we know we're valuable, so it's like when it's like that, then we hold the power, like the working people, you know.
I have the power.
But still, it is polite to like call us and be like, yo, I just think I don't think this is the job for me. Or
I mean,
I'm like, hey, don't hit me with
$5
more dollars an hour.
Don't hit me with that. Don't hit me with 2 days of no shows.
Well,
and then I got to cover your goddamn route. And then
I don't know if is it the same thing as like if you're fired, you get unemployment, but if you quit, you don't. And so maybe that's why they're like, well, you know, let them fire me so I can still get unemployment.
People really be at jobs trying to get fired. I'm telling you. Go ahead.
I tell you one thing: these two individuals ain't. You know, well, I don't know if they're getting it or not. But
what was it? You reminded me though. I did have one teacher moment, and if he happens to look me up and listen to this, much love to you, man. I only met you once, but I just started back with Purdue, and so we got as every year we got a bushel of freshmen that'll come in and probably won't stay past the first day because they're like, oh my God, I didn't think I was going to work this hard. But one dude, he, bless him, my man
bless his heart.
My man has no rhythm and no coordination whatsoever. But he stayed and did the whole 3 hours, and I
respect that.
I had to just commend him. I had to give him some homework too. I was like, "Yo, you listen to music, right?"
Buy a metronome.
You listen to music
because you know you're a college student. I assume you do. That's like most of the time.
That's true.
I was like, man, I need you to every song you listen to until the next time I see you next week. I need you to clap the beat.
I need a guy named Michael Jackson, man. look up his works.
Right. I was like, wherever you go, I need you to walk on the beat of whatever song you're listening to. So if you feeling like it's gonna be a love groovy day, make sure you got extra time because you're gonna be walking a little slow.
That's so funny, man. Yeah. You're gonna be walking down the street like
exactly.
Let one bite the dust.
I was like, I just need you. I need you to get used to your feet catching being the metronome. And so we gonna see what happens next week. But I was like, man, I promise, like, because he was like, man, that was hard. I was like, yo, he got better. He got like from where he started at the top of the class to where he got at the end of the day in that 3 hours. I was like, you improved. You did that much. You did that much in 3 hours.
You might walk in a classroom.
My bad.
You might walk in a classroom like Rock, like entering the ring. All the confidence in the world.
So I do hope he stays and like commits to it because he seems like a really good-hearted dude. But it's been a minute since I've had someone that dramatically uncoordinated.
Gosh, damn. Well, look, I don't know which one of our principles of mine that like it was mine I could actually like go with or was applied to. It's something of an experience you went through. It's something when you come in on Monday and you're like, all right, cool, we've done 6 months of like overtime, which the money is, money is Nice. No doubt about it. I see both sides. Yeah. It's like it's just under stupendous. You know what I'm saying?
Just under stupendous.
So you come in Monday, you feeling good. All right, we got all the drivers about to do it. And it's like so and so never showed. Oh, we back to it. Back to square one. So whichever our principles that applied to, that was mine. So
y'all gotta start lying to them like they do in the trucking industry. Like y'all gonna get $100,000 bonus, man. if you stay for 20 years, like in fine print or something.
That sign on shit.
Man.
Anyway,
AJ,
Adam, what
you
you
have
got,
anything?
man?
Are you good on this?
Not that I can think of. Yeah, not this time.
Where y'all got any travel plans coming up? I don't know about y'all. This year is going by real fast.
Not this year. Next year.
I do. I'm going
what you
to
got?
well, I'm going to North Carolina. I think, Adam, have you been to Asheville when you were in there? Did you ever go to Asheville, North Carolina?
Thought you were in South Carolina.
No.
He was no, but he I know he would travel to like Charlotte and shit.
Yeah. No,
Gotcha.
I would pass through it. Like pretty much every time I drove back here, we would pass through it.
Gotcha. Well, if you ever find yourself down there, there's this thing called the River Arts District. It's dope, and essentially it's a bunch of like shops and stuff, or almost galleries where the artist is typically there, and oftentimes you'll find them actually working on a piece of art. So a lot of time I just find myself sitting back, not buying their art, unfortunately, but just like watching them paint. You know what I'm saying? I'm that asshole. But I mean, we bought several pieces, but like, you know, it's everything from pottery, painting, drawing, and beyond. Yeah, like really, really cool. Just a really cool area, you know, and it's pretty artsy and in quote air quotes progressive, if you will. But going there, maybe going like 2 hours away to do some apple picking in the next few weeks. I can't wait. But like the main like travel that we're doing for Christmas, we're going to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Nice. for about a week or so. Yeah. So,
nice.
That's what's up.
Should be cool. My first time, man. On one of them little puddle. Well, I've been in a puddle jumper before, but I don't think it's gonna be as long. I don't think I've been in one for the amount of time we're gonna spend.
How long is that?
I think I only went for like an hour. I think this is at least 2 hours. I think maybe.
Okay,
that's not bad, really.
So you said a puddle jumper? What's that?
What is that?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But a puddle jumper is just one of those smaller planes. I think it's similar to the size you see at like the Gary Air Show, not the jets, but the ones that are doing the tricks and shit and like getting really close to each other and just nearly missing them. And that's like
like a Cessna type. Like
I don't know the brand.
okay.
I only know it as puddle jumper.
You be on a G5 and stuff.
Yeah. But it's funny. I'm actually wrong. I think you can, but we're taking an actual flight, a typical Delta flight. But I think you have the option to take a puddle jumper or a ferry. And I think we're actually taking a ferry though. So anyway, I'm going to U.S. Virgin Islands for the first time, so it should be cool.
So, how about you, Marco, AJ?
No, I don't have any immediate plans of travel, but a lot of times I just I just started a new job, so my vacations is kind of iffy. But a lot of times I just kind of plan it a few weeks, maybe in advance. But I don't see me going anywhere. Maybe for the remainder of this year, probably not.
Word. Adam, you said not.
Yeah. I mean, if I do anything this year, it'll probably be like to Michigan for a weekend or something. But as far as like big, because I haven't taken like a big trip in a while, because of money. But I'm hoping next winter, like with that 2022 going into 2023, we're thinking about. This is gonna sound crazy, but thinking about going to England.
Oh, do it! Yeah, because
I mean, people wouldn't think to go to Europe in the winter time. This would be crazy.
True.
But I don't know. It's cheaper. Having this, it's way cheaper. But I just keep having this. I don't want to call it a vision, but just this imagery of being in London with snow on the ground. It just seems like a cool image for some reason.
Yo, you might end up painting something, dog. When you go out there. For real, that's dope.
I was gonna. Is their winter the same time as ours?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I don't think it's
It's not as brutal.
Severe.
Yeah. Like it gets cold obviously and it snows, but it's not like I don't think they see those temperatures where it's like -10 wind chill.
Right.
Like just like their summers don't get crazy hot either. It's just a very mild, you know.
Well, two things for you, Adam. One, when you go to Michigan, check out some apple orchards. They're really they got some. Apparently, they got some decent wineries too.
Yeah,
which I never really thought. Yeah. But I also go to that place, Stray Dogs. I think only Marcus is. I don't know if all four of us ever went. That little beach town.
Yeah,
I would talk about.
Yeah, I've been there before.
In New Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo? Yeah. I love that, dog. It's only like a 30-40 minute drive.
Yeah, we've been to that restaurant. Like,
word.
I think earlier in the spring. I think we went there.
I love that place, man.
It's good.
It's well worth it. And you can actually take the train from Chicago. Because I think like a lot of people who are working, like Common used to have a house there, and somebody else, like a bunch of Chicago artists apparently would just go into town, but they would live there.
You said New Buffalo, Michigan?
Yeah, it's like Southwest Michigan. It's about, if you just keep going east past Michigan City, eventually you'll run into it.
I believe that's where
like on 20 or 12.
Is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not far from here at all.
I only got a couple of places, and none are necessarily recreational. We got a show in Memphis at the end of the month that's being ironed out, and I think we go to New York at the top of October. That's really about it. But I'm always trying to get out of the country for New Year's, because but I don't know what COVID or my finances gonna be doing. Hopefully they'll rack up a bit, quite a bit by then. Hopefully. But
I got one quick question before we get into it. I mean, now that you said your piece, and in regards to like vacation time, right? I don't know if this as applies to you as much, Josh, because you don't have the same. It's not as like your working is not as 9 to 5. Somebody gives you your vacation days, blah blah blah. You're more like a contractor of sorts, right?
Right.
Got you. Well, at least for the other two, how do you, when you get a job, how do you is there a pattern in how you take your vacation time, or is it as you go? Because like I got like out of like 10 vacation days, 9 or 10, I only got one left right now, and it might have been just because it just rolled up. Well, it just rolled over last May, so it hasn't been that long. But like, how often are you just planning everything in advance? One, because you know you're gonna get all that. Like, if you plan this shit ahead of time, it gives the bosses and what have you time to prepare and put somebody in that position, you know? So it's more a chance that it'll get accepted, approved, or whatever. But hey, I'm just curious. Are y'all going as you go? Are you like taking it off as you go, or are you like planning everything? Boom.
So I got two answers to that. When I was in the military, it was definitely best to put that time in advance. Because there might sometimes, if there's like an exercise going on, typically you can't go unless it's say like you planned a trip, you bought tickets, then if it's an exercise, they'll let you go. That actually happened to me once. But you like to give them some time in advance. But as far as the planning portion for me, like I never really worried about having time because I knew I would always have it, just because the way that the system works in the military is, I would say one of the biggest benefits of being in the military is you get 30 days a year.
Damn, yeah.
Which is absolutely unheard of. And the cool thing is they roll over. So like
all of them. Does it roll over up to a certain extent or just in general?
Well, it's more so time limit. So like you can't go past like 18 months or something like that. Or it actually
that's insane.
Yeah. It actually had changed while I was in, because before they could just roll over and you could literally be sitting with 130 days of vacation time. But like for me, I think my highest I was like at 75. I had like 75 days of vacation. And
imagine telling your boss like, "Hey, I'm gonna take about 35 days,"
or take the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, that's my next point. you can take 30 days off. Now you can't take more than 30 without commander's approval.
Okay.
But like if something crazy happened in your life, like you had, I don't know, something crazy, like your kid was sick and you had to go to hospitals around the country, you could take those 75 days. Like, but what I did was when I got out of the military, you can take all of those days at the end. It's called terminal leave. So
I heard about that before.
So instead of your last, so if you had 30 days of leave, so instead of you getting out on like June 30th, you could technically get out on like May 31st or whatever the last day of May is. But you would still get paid for that month. Or you can sell those days. So you actually finish your contract and just sell those days, and you would get however much money that would be
on your next check or whatever.
Yeah, on your last check. So what I did was I took some days and I sold some because I had like 75. I think I sold like 45 days and then I took 30 days or something like that. Okay. So, and people can do different combinations of.
That was your first experience in the stock market, selling and trading.
And then, but as far as now though, since I don't get 30 days a year, I think at this job I get 15, which is still really good.
Yeah, to start.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. The benefits are this. I mean, I've only had 2 civilian jobs since I've gotten out the military, but I mean, the benefits here, I mean, they're unheard of compared to the other jobs.
Nice.
But anyway, this one I've kind of just been taking them because like I'd be like so like mentally exhausted. Like, oh, I'm gonna just take a day here. Like, I actually took one in addition to the 3-day weekend we had because of the holiday. I took one on Tuesday because I wanted a 4-day weekend. So, but I'm probably gonna start saving them so I can actually so I can take a full vacation, next year or something. But
how far in advance you got to let them know before you take a day off? Like, it be a couple of days, or
if it's just a day, you could do it the next day. I mean, I would never do that just because it's just
you probably have to let them know by midnight or some shit.
Yeah, but for me, I put that day in on like Thursday, and I took it that Tuesday the next week.
Gotcha. Okay.
But if it's just a day, it's not a big deal. But if you're gonna take a full week, then you might want to let them know in advance, right? So they can plan.
What about you, Marco?
My last 2 jobs has been very similar because we're doing the same thing. But so I'll just say what I did in my last job because with this one I'm like new, so I'm not really trying to take days like that. But I believe they accrue at the same speed or whatever. It's like every day you get point something vacation or personal time. But so I think we had like, I want to say 10 to 12 holidays with 2 floating holidays or something like that. And then the time like I said, you like accumulate it. So it's been pretty easy for me to take off with these jobs, and pretty much the same as Adam. Like, you don't have to give them like a lot of time in advance, as long as they just trying to make sure nobody else is taking a vacation at the same time. And I can do that personally to avoid, I can look at who taking what time, and so we won't have that problem at all. So, but as far as what was it? Was it a second question with that?
No, I was just really like wondering how you guys utilize that, like, because like right now I'm down to 1 day. I'm like just planning on not getting sick because I already took since May everything. I planned everything. I already took the days off, so I got 1 day and planning on not getting sick, doc.
If I didn't have much, I would be strategic the same way. So it's just, I think it's probably just the difference of how much time you get off, probably.
Yeah. I know there are companies that have like flex work, which is or like flex time off, which essentially is like there is no restriction, but no one ever actually utilizes. Like, there is no restriction to how much time you can take off, but no one actually utilizes it because no one's willing to take the risk of being like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I think it's like with companies like you have a company that's kind of like new, right? Like,
it's been around for 10 years, but in Atlanta, it's only been operating for like maybe 5 or something like that.
So
it's still
y'all don't
considered a
have much-
startup. Yeah. So
you
have less
so
than 100
y'all
employees.
you were probably an integral part of the business there. So it's like
Depending on who you
probably-
talk to.
they probably rely. I mean, what I'm saying is they probably rely on you guys a lot more than a job that's been around for a while and
for
doesn't have
sure.
a system like.
Yeah.
Right.
And like whenever somebody takes off or two people take off, then you get ready to like cover you have less people to cover that amount of work, that extra work, you know. But anywho, I was just curious.
But I asked about travel because can you recall the last and for lack of better terms, dumbass thing you did while you were traveling? Like a stupid moment you had, or just irresponsible, or a little reckless. Like one that rushes to mind for me is last time I was in South Africa. I don't know if I told the story before on here. Last time I was in South Africa, me and my homie were like adamant about trying to find some traditional garb in order to take back with us, like whether it be clothing, any kind of curios or trinkets or weapons, anything that was dope and native to the area. So we were in the middle of the townships, which is the black parts of the town. So like segregation for apartheid was done like a target, and so white people would live in the center. The non-white people would live on the outskirts of that, and then the black folks would be on the outside of that. And so the black areas were called townships. And so we're in townships and we catch a cab. We trying to talk to the cabbie, like, yo, like who can we hit up for some shit? And so then
that's where it went all down.
So
that's very vague.
I mean, of course we asked better than that, but
yeah, I know what you meant.
For the shit.
And so he's like, okay, so he gets on the phone, he's calling around, and this is one of those times where like I really wish I like spoke every language or something like that, because you don't know what the fuck people are saying. My man, the average South African speaks 4 to 5 languages, and so
wow,
because I think nationally they have 11.
Crazy.
Yeah,
it makes sense though.
Yeah. 12 with Chinese takeover. So but yeah, so what is it?
They need better defense. Like their defensive coordinator should get fucking fired.
Who, the whole of Africa?
Yes. They need better. This defensive coordinator should be fired, bro. This just getting ridiculous.
Secretary of
That's hilariously fucked up.
Shit. Damn, so I need that fucking the Ravens defense from like 2001.
They need a better zone. They need that.
Like, come on,
they need that cover too.
That's getting ridiculous, man. All right, my bad, man.
That football joke really got at him.
Yeah. I know I'm about to be in the snippets. I just had to get one.
It's just a great joke, man. Especially football season kicked off this weekend.
So we're in this cab, and the cab's a little janky. It's like going on and off while we're going up these hills. But anyways, we get to the area, and there are certain streets like you can't, like either you can't or just shouldn't drive on. And we already drove through a couple streets that I'm pretty sure you shouldn't drive on. And we get to this like area with a long walk, and he's like, all right, we got to walk from here. And I was like, this street seems much wider than several of the streets that we just drove on. So why do we have to walk from here? And it's one of those things where you're like, it seems a little suspect, but and I think we can fight our way out of it. We already have us smuggled knives over, so we a little strapped. It was one, but at the same time, I never in those environments never feel like that threatened. But it's always kind of hood real, recognize real. So you're like, I think I'm fine, but just in case. So we're walking, and it literally looked like you remember that scene from Meteor Man where people like peered over top of buildings and shit to show like they were around? Yeah. That started happening. you know, you see a little kid like drinking from the fountain next to the house, and they just looking at us walk past.
Omar coming.
You say Omar. Rest in peace to Michael K. Williams, by the way.
Yeah, man.
I was really sad to hear. And so you see people like looking over the top of their house and shit like that. We're like, I know we clearly aren't from around here, and that's a little evident. But I never really like being stared at by the community.
Nah, definitely not.
So we get over there, and it's a group of dudes, and shit looks like we about to do a drug deal. I'm not gonna bullshit you. Like one, they got a grill going, like handmade, and on the grill is every piece of pig that like they about to feed the community with this pig. And
okay, they're resourceful. Don't wait.
Shit is looking good too. I don't even eat pork, but I knew something was up because the cabbie, he like gingerly walks over to talk to the main dude who's been like scowling at us as he like turned over the pork on the grill, and then that dude, you see him turn around. And you see the teenager standing behind him, tap the little boy that was playing on the phone, and the little boy just runs in the house. And I was like, "Is some shit about to go down?" Because you know, telling a little kid like, "Hey, you don't want to be out here for this."
Yeah, that's valuable. That's valuable. Like experience that you have to know when something is going down. That's
right.
Instinctual. Yeah.
I've seen too many things.
Yeah, that's something that everybody has to have.
I'm looking, and you can see all of us like, should we just did we set ourselves up because we were just looking for clothes?
Always know your surroundings.
Seems like we're really about to get robbed in this motherfucker. And so then we talk. The dude's talking to us, and then he's talking to the cabbie. He looks at us, and we all like, it's that middle ground between, yo, we're cool and the fuck y'all want to do. And
y'all start flexing your muscles and shit.
Because we
stand a little taller.
We all kind of had to like, you know, put our hand just for easy access. Like, and then he was like, he turned around, talked to his guy, and the guy was like, Tuesday. And then I guess that was when the next shipment of shit was coming in. So he's like, yeah, we ain't got nothing. Sorry. And then we went about our way. But that was, it seemed like it was a dangerous situation for us to not get anything out of.
It probably was like a code word to like, you know, settle down, you know. Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Damn.
I got one, man. It's when my girl and I traveled to Bali. And for the first about 3 or 4 days we stayed there all of, I don't know, maybe like a little under 2 weeks, like a little, maybe 11 days, 12 days, something like that. The first few days we stayed, I think I mentioned it before, we stayed and we wanted to get like more of a real feel of Bali. So we stayed in someone's guest house that was like, it wasn't in the resort area where all the Westerners go when you see like when they're posting pictures of the beautiful water and the beautiful hotels and shit. This was not that, you know, but it was still cute and quaint, and it was just felt more authentic, you know. So the lady, super sweet. Everybody's nice. They had a pool. It was actually quite nice. But when you travel, everybody who travels or has traveled overseas probably knows that you typically need an adapter to plug shit in because the outlets are not the same as the US. I didn't know that. So, and apparently, and your adapter doesn't always work
because the voltage.
Just because you have exactly. Different. And I found out the hard way. So it's the middle of the fucking night. It's like 12:30, 1 a.m. And I was like, you know what? I feel like shaving with my electric shaver.
That shit exploded.
That shit exploded, bro. And the whole fucking building, like the guest house and everything else. The lights just fucking cut flat and went dark. And we had to fucking like bother the lady, wake her up to come take care of it for us. I felt so bad, man. And Natalie was like, "You fucking idiot. What are you doing? What the fuck are you? What you mean you want to shave now? You couldn't wait like 7 more hours? You couldn't wait
I wouldn't have said nothing. I would have went back to sleep. Like,
and then woke up like, oh man, what happened?
And so this lady comes up in her fucking pajamas, and I mean, my experience there for that whole time, people were just extremely nice. They were just very accommodating, extremely nice. I've only been there once, so I don't know if that's just that's typically just how they are, like their disposition or demeanor typically just sweet and nice, but or they're very much like, maybe it's because they're counting on our tourism to make for like 90% of their money. But so yeah, that was my first dumb thing. I felt like an asshole. And then it happened again when we went to the beautiful, luxurious hotel. It cut the whole. I thought, all right, cool. This is a fucking hotel, so it's different. These motherfuckers got the same voltage they have to. So this is like during the day, which is actually worse. So it cuts the whole motherfucking light off and the whole floor, not the building, the whole floor. So we had to call motherfuckers. Like this time, my girl got on the phone like, "Yeah, my idiot boyfriend did." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yo, I happen to be rooming with an idiot here, so can somebody come over here and please, blah blah blah. Yeah, so they came and fixed it, but I felt like a total asshole because you just could like see people coming out of their rooms. Other Westerners like, "What the fuck happened?" Yeah, I'm like, I'm like, yo, so I don't know.
No,
I ain't got that. I ain't got the answer. You can't handle the truth, okay? So that was my dumb shit. It happened twice in a matter of less than 14 days. Man, just because I wanted to fucking shave again. Don't be me when you go somewhere, man. When you travel,
don't do your research. Know your adapters and know your plugs.
Yeah, you pay that goddamn much for a hotel. They should have better voltage, man.
Only reason
that's my dumb excuse.
I agree, but then I go like first experience I had was like some weird power shit was going to China, and they'll only give you one room key. And that room key doesn't only get you in the room, but it turns on the power in that room. Oh. And that's how conservative they are about the power. It's
yeah.
If unless you're in there, they don't want you leaving anything on.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that actually makes sense. That's actually it's useful. Yeah. So I dig it. So it just comes down to me being an idiot, you know. When I get inspired to shave, I shave. You know?
AJ, Marco, y'all got anything?
The only thing I could think of right now is like en route to go travel somewhere else is just like missing flights and stuff like that. Like that's a terrible feeling because you plan so long and you feel like you cutting into your vacation and it sucks. It's like that's one of the worst feelings, man. But I can't think of nothing else. But I just keep replaying when we missed a flight because we caught the wrong train and stuff like that, and you just gotta sit there in your sorrow and wait for the next
thing. Yeah, that's always a big fear of mine of missing a flight. I've never missed one, but I've been really close, like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
And you can the flight is probably not leaving in the next 30 minutes, but if they already boarded,
if they close that door,
exactly. Like you could easily. I just feel like I could easily. Okay, just let me walk on the plane. Like, it'll not only take me that long. It's only take me seconds. But they pretty strict about that.
Yeah, like the 2 that I almost missed, they were like, I was the last person on the plane. Like, or actually, the one time was me and Kirsten. and then the other time it was just me. But yeah, we were like both times I was running, and they were like pretty much about to shut the door, and I was like, but I've never actually missed one. But
I missed. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you get.
I was gonna say I missed the flight once, sitting next to the door because I was asleep, and eventually you just tuned it out. Yeah. And I woke up like 10 minutes after they closed the door.
Damn, they didn't wonder like this guy is in this terminal. He may not. He may be going here. Like
like I mean, sometimes people they get to airports mad early and they know the gate that they're going to be at, but they're like 2 flights ahead of their flight. And so I can get them not assuming.
Yeah. At least tap me then.
Yeah. I feel like if anyone sleep in that area, they should be like, hey, if they get mad at you, they get mad at you, but at least you might save somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
No, because everybody can hear them over the little intercom thing. If I'm sitting in one of those seats and they're at the front desk, just say, guy who's sleeping.
But a lot of
name Thomas. Yeah, like
there's a lot of sleeping going on in airports though.
It is.
True.
It's also true.
True.
But yeah,
man, I got too many come to mind, yo. Like I'm realizing how much dumb shit I've done while traveling. Like, damn, there was it had been at least a decade since I had been on a plane, and the reason why I missed one of my flights because I didn't know. So I get to I think it was Las Vegas, and then a short flight from it was a short layover, and then I was going from Las Vegas to Reno, and got off at Las Vegas, and I'm like, cool, I don't have that much time. Actually, no, I had like 2 hours. Actually, this actually makes it worse. It makes it dumber. I go down to baggage claim, and you have to go through. I didn't know that all your shit goes to the final destination. So I went back down to baggage claim, going through everything. Like, where's my fucking bag, son? Where's my bag?
They did not let you back in, huh?
Bro, no, they let me back in, but I missed it by that 10-minute thing when they closed the door. For over an hour, I'm standing at like the fucking desk at the help desk saying, "Where's my luggage ain't here?" And they were like, "Sir, it's at your final destination. You've been here for over an hour in line waiting to tell me this." I was like, yeah. She was like, you better go. So I'm running to Vegas airport. Vegas airport is fucking huge, dude. I'm running to the other side. Man, like you run and then your body's like, no, death, yo, like, no, death is imminent. There's a reason why your breathing is so hard and my chest was hurting. I'm running past like a flight attendants and shit, like, yo, go, because I'm telling them what flight I'm on and shit.
Why don't you try to get on one of the buggies?
Oh, bro, I didn't even think of that. All I was thinking is you can make it to the fucking flight, and I thought I was good. And they were like, "No, the doors closed." It had been a decade. So they're like, "No, the doors closed 10 minutes before." So I straight up laid down on the floor. I just fucking laid down on the floor into the next flight. Like I like what's the fucking drawing from Leonardo da Vinci, Vitruvian Man or something. The guy with his arms and legs spread out.
Like this.
Yeah. I just laid there for an hour to the next flight, man. But the dumb part was I didn't know, since I hadn't been on flights, that when you have a layover, your luggage goes to the final destination. So I go through everything and have to re-enter security on all that shit and sprint just to miss the fucking flight, man.
At least when was the next flight? Was it like
it was only an hour later? It was an hour later, yeah.
At least that's the case.
Yeah.
When I would miss flights in because I think I only missed a flight once in Wyoming. They only have 2 flights a day. One in the morning and one at night. Yeah. And they're to Denver because there's no straight flights to that airport.
It's because it's the small one, right?
It's
a regional.
Yeah. Like real small. Yeah. Like I don't think any plane can land there with more than like 16 seats in it.
Oh wow! Hey, it's like somebody's backyard.
Yeah,
somebody just own it. But yeah, y'all can behind the barn back there.
Have y'all had any interesting experiences coming back or going through customs, going in and out of the country? Like when I came back from Bali, the guy was like, it was my first time. Also, I was outside of the country. So he was like, "You guys have anything to claim? You know, the typical shit. You got anything to claim?" I was like, "Only diarrhea, bro. Only diarrhea." That's all you. I was feeling like shit. All your boy got is diarrhea. You can check everything else. We good.
What was it? My flight back from Bulgaria a couple years ago. Fuck Bulgaria, first of all. fuck everything about Bulgaria. If I never step foot on that shithole of a country again. Watch me go back real soon.
Yeah, we just went from 16 followers to 14. We just lost 2 from Bulgaria.
Nothing against the people. Maybe that one waiter I met the day I got there. Fuck him. But some other lovely people were there. And fuck them restaurants that wouldn't serve me because I was black. But
yeah, that's whack. That's whack.
But on the way back, what was it? I forgot to take the coconut oil out of my carry-on. But it was solid, as coconut oil does. And it was only like, it was below the label. It wasn't even that much in it.
Mm-hmm.
And dude emptied out my whole bag to get to that jar that is locked. The jar is a full-ass, it's a regular size jar.
Mm-hmm.
I realized my bottom hand was out of frame, so you couldn't really see nothing. But and he emptied my whole bag, found that jar, and said, "What is this?" I said, "It's coconut oil, like lotion." And he looked at me all confused, and I was like, "You shouldn't ask questions if you don't know what lotion is." And then he proceeded to throw it away and then walk away. And I was like, "You think you're gonna try to put my stuff back?"
He's like, "You should know better."
Yo, they always put it back. They put it back with no fucking sense of organization. They just fucking jumble.
No, he didn't even try. He just said, "You can't have this." Threw it away and then walked away. And I was like, "One, that's less than 3 ounces, sir."
Yeah.
And but yeah, and then right after that, I go to help walk my director out because she's at the like passport check and whatever. And dude goes, why were you here? Business or pleasure? She goes, business. He's like, "Why were you here?" She says, "I'm the director of a dance company and we were here to perform." And in the middle of her talking, he goes, "I don't really care." And then she forgot to take out the local currency out of her passport because that's what she was holding it in.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she just hands him the passport, not thinking about it. And he goes, "What are you trying to bribe me?" And she was like, "No, I just forgot it was in there." And then he goes, the fuck did he say to her? He said some shit along the lines of, he was like, "All right, don't come back anytime soon," or some shit like that. And then like slings her passport back through the window. Like, yo.
Dang, son. Don't ask me business or pleasure, and then when I explain to you, say I don't care.
Like, I'm telling you,
it's your job. It's your job to care, motherfucker.
Motherfuckers was mad rude over there.
Dang. Well then,
I'm gonna tell my little story. This happened. I wasn't traveling per se, like for fun or anything. It happened when I was in Korea, but like stationed there. There's a lot of funny stories from there, but okay, so when I was there, we had a curfew of 1 a.m., which was lame, but whatever. I get it. I get why we had it. But so I was actually at this day. It was like a Saturday or Sunday. It was a Saturday. I went to Seoul for whatever reason. I went there a lot. That's it's an excellent city. So I was coming back on like the later train, and I know that their train, their subways and all that, I know they don't run 24 hours, but I thought that this particular train, I thought I could get to where I needed to get to before they stopped running. Unfortunately, I was wrong. So I'm on this train at like 12 something. I'm trying to get back by 1. So I was like, I should be able to get back, by, this time and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so I'm on this particular train and we get to this city called Suwon. It's like it's a bigger city. It's not like Seoul big, but it's like, if Seoul is New York City, Suwon is like it's like Chicago, or maybe not quite Chicago, maybe like a Charlotte, big city but small. So there's so this train gets to Suwon and that's the last stop. It's not going any further. So I'm like, I have to literally sit here. The issue was I need to get back by 1, but it's not necessarily a big deal if you don't, as long as you're not like just out on the street, hanging out. So I was like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about getting in trouble because I'm in Suwon and my base is like 30-40 minutes away from me.
As long as you're tucked in the brothel somewhere safe and sound, you're good.
So like I'm in this train station and it's like, mind you, it's like January, February, so it's freezing outside. But the doors are open and there's no heat in this train station. So it's just however it feels outside is how it feels inside. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna see if I can just take a cab back. So I go outside and like I can't find any cabs for whatever reason. So I'm like, man. So I was like, you know what? At this point, it's about 1:00 and the trains start running again at like 5 or 5:30. So I'll just stay in the train station. So I'm on my phone watching YouTube or something in this freezing train station, mind you. And I'm on this bench and there's actually quite a few other people in there and just, just the most random people random combination of people you could see. So I'm sitting on this bench and there's this guy and he's definitely, I don't know if he's drunk or just not mentally there, but he has this cup. I don't know if it's coffee or something. He just starts pouring it on the ground. He just starts pouring it on the ground. And I'm like, and I look at him like, and I know he doesn't know what I'm saying, but I'm like, what are you doing, man? And it's just like, he looks at me and we like, so I get up and I walk away and I'm like, man, I can't stay here until 5 o'clock in the morning. It's full of just like lunatics. Like, I'm like, so I'm like, all right. So then I was like,
hey, that's similar to our area.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just get something to eat. So, there's this chicken place. It's kind of like Chick-fil-A, honestly. It's like they're based chicken, so it's like chicken sandwiches, chicken nuggets, chicken strips, and yeah. So it was actually right next door to the train station. So I went there, got something to eat. Then I was like, okay, this will kill some time. Then I was like, all right, well, maybe if I found like a cafe, because there's a lot of coffee, Starbucks type places that are open 24 hours. So I'm like, okay, well, where's the closest one? And I look on my phone, it's like 2.5 miles away. I'm like, man, like that's too far. I'm not walking that. So I go back to the train station. Then I was like, I'm freezing. So I was like, I'm gonna just make the walk. So I ended up walking 2.5 miles in the cold to this this like cafe that was packed for whatever reason. It's like at this point, like 2 something in the morning, and it's packed, just full of people. So I mean, that part I guess didn't matter. It was just a factual part of the story. But anyway, so I go in there, order like a hot chocolate or something, and I just stay there until like 5 in the morning watching Joe Rogan. And that's what I did.
Which is if you ever wanted to watch a podcast to past almost 400 hours of time, 4 hours of time, it's Joe Rogan, man.
Joe Rogan or Drink Champs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just
Drink Champs is hilarious.
Yo, I just appreciate the epic of decision making. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I ain't gonna go. I made the 2-mile trip.
Yeah, it's just, and then having to walk back to the train station is like,
damn.
But I just wish, I made a bad decision that day, getting on the late train, not knowing that it doesn't go all the way to where I need to go. It's like,
and then that is some shit that happens. Yeah, that is some shit that happens for sure. Like in a new place, man.
Yeah,
you
never
do that
would have
again.
been like, and even if I found a cab, it probably would have been insanely expensive anyway. But like I said, it was still like a 40-minute drive.
Right.
So as we know, 40 minutes in a cab is gonna add up.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to go home and not be in the cold, but I couldn't find one anyway. So
damn. That was good, dude.
Hey, what's like the exchange rate over there for?
It's honestly it's about even. Like $1, it's $1 to like their equivalent would be 1,000 won, but it's like $1 would be like to 1,000 won would be like 87 cents. I mean, it's not that far off. And as far as like just the cost of things is like about the same. Like, so if you were to go out to eat, like with another person, it would cost about the same as it would here. Sometimes more, sometimes less, just obviously depending on the place.
Or before we wrap up, Marco, you got one?
Well, he
not
was saying
really.
the missed flight, right?
Yeah, I can't really think of another one at this point, but
No worries, man.
just in general of that feeling of missing, especially because I always try to book flights like straight flights, no layovers.
Oh yeah.
And when you miss a plane, when you miss a flight, then most likely you're gonna have a layover. So
yeah.
I don't really have anything else I can think of except, well, last year I went to New Orleans and it was like, it actually was right like after a hurricane, like 2 hurricanes, honestly, and it was a hurricane threatening the area while we were there. But I was just like, we're going.
Gotta get them beads, son. Gotta
If we die, we die.
Yeah.
So
We gonna die as I feel you.
I don't know if that was a bad idea, but it
we
worked
gonna
out.
die as partners in love.
Glad it
you know
worked
what
out.
I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah.
We want to thank y'all for
we
joining
still got
us.
4 people on the podcast.
Exactly. We want to thank y'all for joining us for another episode of your Informally Honest podcast. If you would like to chime in, give us any feedback, or offer any questions or topics for us to talk about, you can always write us at informallyhonestpodcast@gmail.com. You can hit us on any of our social medias: Twitter, informally_HP, Facebook, Informally Honest Podcast, and on Instagram, it's Informally Honest. We love and appreciate each and every one of you. And by all means, in every connection that you make, every conversation that you have, and every piece of loved one, and even, people that you don't love so much, always unapologetically be forthright, vulnerable, and be honest.
Always and forever.
Each moment in that ass.
Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe and all that jazz.
Yes. Share, like, subscribe, and rate us on Apple Podcasts so it can be suggested to more people on there.
Right.
Please, and all that jazz. And if you don't, we on that.
Even if you only like the clips, even if you only watching the clips, share them clips.
Yeah.
That's right.
Literally. Come on, man. It's like 2 minutes. Share that shit. It's not hard.
Yeah, bitch ass niggas.
Yeah, you definitely got to keep that in there. For sure.
Look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother. I really wanna try for my brother, 'cause I truly do feel for my brother.